Wow. Boy, that power planter.
Makes it a whole lot easier.
No doubt.
It's all about the tool.
Exactly. Wow. Hello, Prim Garden friends. Welcome to our new channel. I am so glad you're here with me today. It has taken me 2 years. We talked about it back and forth several times. My husband is using a DeWalt. I'll put the information on the screen for what the model number is for that. And then one of the largest of the auger bits. What an incredible difference that has made in getting these things done much quicker and less work on the body, actually.
It's a DeWalt DCD130.
DCD130. Okay, wonderful.
Power planter auger.
Yep, we'll put the links on the screen and then in the description as well for those. So I mentioned at the beginning, or I just said, welcome Prim Garden friends. This channel maybe will be a little bit different than some of the other gardening channels in that I'm going to kind of focus especially on the more historic, the more early American style, that more kind of a look, that colonial look is what we're after here for our house, for our gardens, and the gardens that I visit and the gardening that we do will really be primarily focused on those kinds of things. So if that's your thing, which I hope that it is, I'm thrilled that you're here, but that will be the focus. So we built a reproduction Cape Cod home, and it was finished almost 2 years ago. We've been in for almost 2 years. During that time, I looked at so many pictures, so many images of some of the New England Cape Cod homes, and a lot of the older historic homes just didn't have landscaping at the base of the house. So I hemmed and I hawed and I just held off, just kept holding off. And then I discovered these Endless Summer Hydrangeas, and I know that they are a very traditional shrub that is used in Cape Cod and often in front of these style of houses. So when I saw that and saw what the shrubs look like and the amount or lack of maintenance really that they need, I felt like that was the answer. That was the simplicity that we were looking for, and that's what we went with. So I'll show you a little bit here as I do a planting of one of them. In order to have them go blue, my understanding is that you want to add acidic base. So we're planting with both peat moss and also a compost. The compost that we're using here is a local compost to us. I would say within about 20-30 miles of us, and that's called Bull's Country. And we've had wonderful luck with that on our flower farm. It's just a really nice product. But we'll show you here in a minute as I get one of these planted, and then we'll show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, so when I'm planting these, I want my flowers to be blue instead of the pink. And if you have an acidic soil or you have additives to it that make it acidic, you'll have blue flowers. It won't happen instantly, but over time that will happen. So we added peat moss and compost to the hole. Jim used the power planter to kind of stir it all up, which was just awesome. You're not starting from clumps of soil like you would with a shovel. And so now I'm just kind of mixing that into the native soil, and then I'm going to backfill it in. And one of the things I always try to do is leave the plant proud or above the soil just ever so slightly that's around it, so that when we come back in with mulch, or in this case we're going to put compost down because this is just a real hard kind of a clay soil here. We're going to use the Bull's Country to compost all of this. But if you put it right at ground level, then when you come back in with your compost or your mulch, you don't really have room and it'll be higher than your plant at the stem. So you want it a little bit, just a little bit, above the edge of the ground. So the Endless Summer Hydrangeas, one of the things that I really liked about it and was the reason why we chose it was because it blooms both on new wood and on old wood. And so you might say, all right, well, what does that even mean? So when something blooms on old wood, it means that the flowers are formed on the wood that was there last year. So around the fall time, you'll have the wood that has grown up through the summer, through the fall, spring, summer, and fall, and the buds are on that. Now, we're in zone 6, so we can absolutely have late frosts. And if you have a late frost with a hydrangea that blooms on old wood, you very likely have the possibility that that frost will kill all of those buds that are on your plant. So if you have hydrangeas that never seem to bloom, that's one reason that could be the case. It might be one that blooms on old wood. But Endless Summer Hydrangeas have been bred to bloom on both the old wood and the new wood. So even if they get zapped by a really bad frost in the early spring, when that happens, now the new growth that happens will have buds and will flower. So that's one of the reasons why that was the plant that we chose here for this area. They are hardy from zone 4 to zone 9. And in our situation here, we actually have it planted facing south. Now, I'm sure that there are people in the south that are saying, well, you silly girl, there is no way that you're going to be able to keep those. They are going to get crunchy. But on a lot of research that I've done and talked to a lot of people, if we keep these hydrated, and hydrangea, hydra, is a plant that likes water. As long as we can keep these well watered, we should have no problem having these survive and actually thrive here in this facing south area in our
These
zone
are
6.
facing west, sweetie. Southwest, what's the difference? It's all good.
Now I just swore. We're gonna have to
I'm
edit
just
that out. Why did I think we were facing south? That south. Well,
That's all right.
I'm gonna have to edit that part out. We're facing west, so we should be just fine. Is west all sun?
No.
All right. Well, we'll have shade.
In the afternoon, this will get a lot of sun in the early afternoon too.
Okay. Well, we'll have to edit.
At like noontime, the sun is going to be south.
I
So
just don't know my north, south, east, and west. Whatever.
should I stop recording?
No, I'm just gonna edit. So these are all in. We'll show an after picture. We're facing west here in this location. They're in. So this is gonna be a channel. I'm 99.9% of the time not gonna take a shower, do my hair, curl it, put my makeup on, and then do a video. You're gonna get what you get. So I kind of turn purple when I'm warm. The other thing that we want to do in this front area, again following that historical kind of feeling, is we want to do a lilac over at that far corner. So I'm looking forward to kind of figuring out what variety we should do there. I was kind of thinking really old-fashioned, really historical, like an old piece. But there's so much to be said for the new modern breeding of certain things. So we want to look for something that has the best of all worlds, has that look of an old-fashioned lilac that'll be nice, kind of not incredibly tall, but just the right height, but something that maybe is one of the ever-blooming ones as well, or reblooming. I think they call it a boomerang or reblooming lilac. So that's the plan for the front. We've got plans for around the side. The topiary there will be done. I've got an old-fashioned ground cover that we're going to use. So we'll show you some pictures at the end here of the rest of it as it's all been planted. And we'll see you in the next video. I hope you'll hit subscribe and ring that bell and tell your friends about our channel. It's going to be a little different, I think, than others because we're going to focus on it being more of the historical, early American kind of colonial look in our landscaping and gardens. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.